It's been 5 years since the excellent PS4 reimagining of Ratchet & Clank, and even longer since an entirely original story with our favourite Lombax and robot combo reared its head. In that time, we've seen the re-emergence of another furry platforming king in Crash Bandicoot, while cute robot duties have seemingly transferred to Astro and his brethren, with Rescue Mission and Astro's Playroom on the new generation of Sony's console. But it's 2021, and Ratchet & Clank are back to reclaim the crown in a new adventure that aims to take advantage of as many elements of the PS5 as possible. You want an exclusive? Boy, Insomniac are here to give you one. The gameplay opens up with a parade for our heroes, with Ratchet providing a knowing comment of "but we've not done anything for years" before things all start to go a bit south. See, Clank's rebuilt the Dimensionator, a device that's been dormant in the canon for quite a while now, in order for Ratchet to traverse the dimensions in search of other Lombaxes. Of course, Dr. Nefarious has other plans for it, gatecrashing the parade and stealing the Dimensionator, before Ratchet inadvertently causes a malfunction with it, causing reality to come caving in on itself. Nefarious is sick and tired of having our duo repeatedly get the better of him, so he wants to travel to a dimension where he always wins. In doing so, the malfunctioning Dimensionator opens up portals, or rifts, to other parallel dimensions, and the fun truly begins. You see, the thing I've not told you is that before that initial parade sequence, we're introduced to a strange dystopia, where someone's ruling with an iron fist. Massive death robots roam the streets, and a plucky band of resistance fighters strive to take down the malevolent Emperor Nefarious. Heading up the resistance is another Lombax, only this one has white and purple fur, and she's called Rivet. It's not long before Ratchet, Clank and Rivet all meet and team up to try and take down both Doctor and Emperor Nefarious once and for all. From there on, it's a rip-roaring ride through reality, time and space, and it's an absolute belter. Before I come on to the mechanics and general gameplay, I'd like to take a moment to get across just how good this game looks. I wanted to get through the entire review without saying it's like playing a Pixar movie, but without doing that, all I can really say is it's like playing a DreamWorks movie, but substantially better. Insomniac have outdone themselves, with every area you visit presenting you with a vibrant Technicolor wonderland, whether it's the first area's neon signs and glistening golden statue of the Emperor, or the volcanic currents that give off a heat haze which engulfs the entire screen. Every moment of the game is screaming out for you to give photo mode a go. At the time of writing, I've only just had access to the performance mode, so I've yet to test it fully, but I can only really comment on the fidelity mode. I've yet to notice a dip below 30 frames a second, even with a ridiculous amount of action happening on the screen. I know we're in a new generation and all that, but this is genuinely the most technically impressive video game that I've ever seen. Particle effects ricochet off surfaces, enemies disintegrate into clouds of sparks at every turn, and the SSD allows for not only an incredibly swift start from cold experience, but also one of the coolest evolutions of a mechanic from one of my favourite games of all time. Yep, I'm talking about the rifts. When Rift Apart was first announced, a number of people, presumably with nothing better to do, said that it wasn't anything special as it was done in Titanfall 2 with the standout effect and cause mission. However, what Ratchet does with the technique surpasses things in a way that I honestly didn't think would be possible. There are points in the game where you'll be flung through a rift, leading to a completely new environment in the blink of an eye. Sometimes there'll be a brief moment where you'll be caught between dimensions, which I guess is just the new equivalent of an elevator ride to mask the loading time, but it's so ridiculously fast that it just adds to the chaos rather than detracting from the moment. It's a super cool mechanic and one that's not overplayed to the point of being tiresome. Similarly, the rift tethers within levels are a neat addition to traversal and combat alike, with a quick tap of the L1 button pulling you through sections of areas and quickly giving you a different vantage point to rain hell down on your foes with one of Rift Apart's impressive array of weaponry. Of course there's an impressive array of weaponry, it's a Ratchet & Clank game. There are a few misses that don't feel quite as effective as others, but on the whole, the mix between exciting new shooters and old ones gives you the chance to play through the game in a way that you want to. Personally, I found the electricity weapon to be a personal favourite, stunning enemies before leaping in with a Shatter Blast grenade to finish them off. Oh, and make sure you start a new game in challenge mode after completion, as there's a couple of classics that you don't want to miss. All the dimension hopping leads to some tantalising prospects, and most of them are realised in Rift Apart. For starters, it delves into an obscene amount of prior game history, and pulls out some characters I'd genuinely forgotten about while giving them an alternate dimension twist. Rusty Pete, for example, makes a swashbuckling return with the most unlikely of personas, while other characters are given a tweaked personality and a lick of paint to fit in with Rivet's reality in some really neat ways too. I don't want to go too far off into what could be considered spoiler territory, but the story introduces some characters that you'd almost expect as well. Rivet controls much the same as Ratchet, which allows for a sense of consistency throughout the game, and there are some really cool little side stories involving Clank and a new character named Glitch, who's there to help rid some computer terminals of nasty viruses throughout the story. Outside of the main game, it's stuffed full of Easter eggs, references, and the kind of humour you'd come to expect from a Ratchet title, with some wonderful little nods to other Insomniac games that I genuinely didn't expect to see. This all ties into a beautiful and tight-feeling platformer with very little fat to chew on. My only real complaint with the game is that there are a couple of sections that involve riding some wildlife that I feel are a little clunky, but everything else around it is top-notch. I did encounter a couple of bugs and it crashed once or twice on me, but reading through the planned fixes for the day one patch, it looks like these will be addressed by the time you get your hands on it. As a package, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is exactly what I imagine a lot of people have been hoping for, a mechanically dense yet entirely accessible platformer with plenty of humour and depth to keep coming back to. There were points during my review where I completely lost track of time, thinking only an hour had passed, when in fact it was closer to 4 or 5. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a stunning showcase of what the PS5 is capable of, even this early into the generation. It looks astonishing, it plays gloriously, and there are enough trinkets and secrets to keep you coming back for more. If you want a great PS5 exclusive, here it is. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you have enjoyed this review, please do drop us a like, leave us a comment and subscribe to the channel because it helps us out no end, and we'll be back soon with some more content. Take care, guys. Bye bye.